Welcome to SCBWI Carolina's Book Fairies First Look. I'm your host, Mickey Bear. Today, I am thrilled to welcome back children's author and illustrator, Ashley Belote. Ashley is the author-illustrator of Witch and Wombat, Penguin Random House 2023, Sheepwrecked, Penguin Random House 2024, Don't Wash Winston, Fievel and Friends 2024, Listen Up Luella, The Me Tree, and A Partridge in the Wee Tree. She is also the illustrator of Frankenslime and Valen Slime by Joy Keller, Fievel and Friends 2021. Ashley studied traditional animation under the direction of Don Bluth. She is a West Virginia native and earned her BA from Alderson Broaddus University. She earned her MA in Arts Administration from the University of Kentucky. Her graduate study included a children's literature and illustration course, The Whole Book Approach, through Simon's College at the Eric Carle Museum of Picture Book Art. She also serves as the illustrator coordinator for the Carolinas chapter of SCBWI. Ashley is represented by Mo Ferrara of Triada U.S. Literary Agency. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you so much, Mickey. I am thrilled to be back.
So before we get started, let me tell everyone a little bit about Little Red and Big Bad Fred. Beautiful. So get ready for a fractured fairy tale retelling. Once upon a time, Little Red loves to visit his great grandfather. He makes the trip through the woods any time of year. The best part is when Little Red meets Fred along the way. Fred is the bestest, fluffiest, most amazing kitty in the whole wide world. Never mind that Little Red is completely oblivious to the fact that Fred is, in fact, a very hungry wolf that is trying to eat him. When Fred gets hurt from a trap he set for Little Red takes his injured friend to great grandfather's house. That's when great grandfather tells Little Red that Fred is actually a dog? Even better. Poor Fred. Little Red's positive outlook is contagious in this picture book about an unlikely friendship, the power of kindness, and keeping an open heart. What an adorable twist to a beloved classic.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
can you tell me the story behind the story of Little Red and Big Bad Fred?
Yes, so I am a huge fairy tale fan. I love all the classics, and I also love the parodies of the classics. I love anything and everything that there has to do with fairy tales. And when I was looking for a new portfolio piece one day, I was drawing this little kid, and because it's hard when you're an illustrator sometimes because you have to make pieces specifically for your portfolio. You can't really show pieces that are part of a dummy that you're working on. So we have to take the time to make some work that's only for portfolios. And I was doing that one day, and I was drawing this little kid, and I really liked him. He was fun and funny. And I was thinking about animals that I don't really have represented in my portfolio a ton. I have a lot of like bears and wombats and cats and like cute things. And so I was trying to branch out a little bit and was thinking like, okay, maybe like a wolf. So I drew this kid and this wolf, and I'm like, oh, it looks like they're playing hide and seek. But obviously the wolf is trying to eat the kid. And then it just kind of like went from there. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much better than just a portfolio piece. So then I had to start something completely new again for my portfolio. And that's why I mean, it is a never ending cycle, you know? So I just took that like little nugget of an idea there from that first illustration and ran with it. And my gosh, it was fun.
Nice. So, well, what is your favorite illustration in the book?
So I love this question so much. There's obviously a lot that I love, but this is one of my favorites because it is packed full of visual humor, and that is what I love so much. So the spread before this, Fred tries to trap Little Red in a trick picnic blanket. Obviously, that plan fails, and he ends up trapping himself again. Poor Fred. And I think that it is so fun when you can hide the joke in the art and not necessarily say it in the words. And I'm such a fan of visual humor. I love physical comedians. I love that when an artist or a performer can convey a joke visually. So that was one of my goals with this was to pack it full of visual humor. And that was one of my favorite spreads to work on. And it still makes me laugh every time I see it. So
But what was the biggest challenge of creating this book? Because it sounds like creating this humor through the pictures would be somewhat of a challenge, but that's like a gift that you have. So what was the challenge in this book?
It was really putting a spin on a classic tale. I have really never written anything that had such a direct inspiration before. And you want to take the initial spark of that idea and the initial inspiration from those classic tales and to put your own spin on it, it has to be so original because obviously you're not rewriting something that's been done. You're doing something new based on that original concept. So for me, that was the biggest challenge because I had such a direct inspiration. But even though it was the biggest challenge, it was also the part that I enjoyed the most because it was such a challenge. And I know that as creative people, we love a creative challenge. It's like putting a puzzle together. And I really learned a lot about my writing process. I tend to lean a lot on my art and to help my writing improve. And I've just kind of done that my entire career. And this time I really had to work more so on the writing up front than I typically do in the process. So it was lovely and amazing. And I was almost sad when it was done, but I am happy to see it. So
Well, it's absolutely beautiful, and I love the story. What is your favorite fairy tale?
Little Red Riding Hood, hands down. I went as Little Red Riding Hood for like 3 Halloweens when I was a kid. I just thought it was such a fun story. And I also grew up in a cabin in the woods. So I felt like out of all the fairy tale characters, I was Little Red Riding Hood. And I used to get I had a lovely babysitter growing up, and she was older. She was basically my grandmother figure. And I used to pretend that I was Little Red Riding Hood and like bake her things and take them to her in a basket. And I was just my childhood. And I identified so much with that story. And I think that's the other reason why this was such a special project because I could see so much of me in it. And I think creators in general, we always infuse our stories and illustrations with a little, piece of ourselves. So this one was special for me for a multitude of reasons.
So, you're a very animated person. You kind of perform almost when you do these book visits and you draw and you teach everyone how to illustrate when you're, visiting with kids. You do so many of these school visits, author talks. What advice do you have about book promotions for other picture book creators?
I think this is great. I got a lot of really great advice coming up, and I still get lots of great advice from fellow creators. And I think the best thing that you can do is try to think of things that are original and that apply to you, not just your book, but to you. What can you do that is unique that nobody else can do? And I think that comes with really knowing your book and your process and what about you as a person is unique. And I think that is where I really started to find success in writing as well and illustrating. I started just doing it for me and my ideas and bringing my things to life, not what other people expected me to make. And I think promotion lives in that same world. I think that if you stop trying to promote your book how other people are and start to just really focus on the nitty gritty down to it, what your book is about and what you can show that's unique, then you will find success as well.
I love that. So, what is coming up next for you?
Oh, mwahaha. I have so many fun things. Oh my gosh. The first thing that will be next is my debut as a graphic novelist. I am so excited for Squirrel Lock Holmes. This is my arc, and I've never had an arc before, which was really cool. So this comes out in March of next year, and it's been really fun to adapt my style to working in panels. I'm a big fan of the Sunday funnies and comic strips, and that was a lot of my childhood as well. So being able to bring a story to life in that format has been really fun and like another artistic challenge. So that's coming up next. And then of course, just like you know, when you're a creative person, you always have like 100 things happening up here at one time. So lots and lots of things. But first, that graphic novel I'm really, really excited about.
That is so cool. I'm excited about that too. It just seems like a really good natural progression for you from
Hmm.
illustrating books to writing, illustrating, and now telling a story in more of a long form. And that's such a
Yes,
great form. When I was teaching ELA for sixth grade, the graphic novels are really, they kind of get kids hooked on reading. It's not the challenge that they expect it to be, and they
sure.
can have fun with it and they enjoy it, and it's as fun as the picture books and even more so. And so it's kind of like the gateway to novels
It
for
is
them, and
honest.
it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I think they do so much to teach readers about how images tell stories as well. Because a lot of graphic novels, you know, the point is the words and the pictures work together. Now, that's obviously true for picture books as well, but it's different. You know, there's so much narrative happening in the art for graphic novels. And I think because we are such a visual culture, if you think about it, everything, we are so visually heavy now that it really helps them learn how to communicate with pictures and how to understand how pictures can tell stories too. So there's so many great things that graphic novels teach, and we don't even realize it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It absolutely. Of course, how can your readers stay up to date with all of your latest releases, events, and everything you do?
Yes, on my website, ashleybelote.com. I'm also very active on Instagram and Facebook at Ashley Belote Illustration. I post process art, I post some portfolio things, but also about my events and school visits and everything that comes with being an author illustrator that I just love so very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me, and congratulations again on the release of Little Red and Big Bad Fred. Such a sweet book. I love it.
Thank you so much for having me back, Mickey. It's always great to chat with you. I really appreciate it.